On the page that's entitled Produce, Shutdown, Go Out of Business Decision, um, you find several problems there. And for each problem, each situation, you have four things you're supposed to do, listed up at the top. First, if the firm is going to produce in the current period, should it stick with its current output, produce more, or produce less? Second, B, at its current output level, what's its profit? Third, the firm expects these conditions to continue in the future. Should it produce, shut down temporarily, or go out of business? And then D, if the firm expects conditions to improve and be more profitable in the future, what should the firm do? I'm going to go through the first three of these. You have the solutions for all of them. So after I do these three, I think you should feel pretty comfortable with the process. If you have trouble with the others, give me an email or come see me. First problem. In analyzing what the firm should do, the first thing is always to determine what is the right quantity to produce. And as I've said 100 times now, you want to produce every unit where marginal revenue is greater than or equal to marginal cost, and that means the firm wants to stop where marginal revenue and marginal cost are equal. Here we're told information relative to what this firm is doing right now. So we have to decide, is it doing the right thing or should it do something different? Notice you're told at the top, these are all they're in price taker markets. That simplifies things because it means the firm really doesn't have any choice over what the price is going to be. You're given the market price here. So here, number one, market price is $50. We got to figure out, is this firm producing at the level of output where profit is at a maximum? Okay. Is it producing where MR equals MC? Let's draw a graph. The price is 50. So that means, since this is a price taker firm, it faces a demand curve, which is horizontal at a price of $50. And it faces a marginal revenue curve, which is horizontal at a price of $50. It has a marginal cost curve that looks like our typical marginal cost. Where should the firm produce? It should produce where MR and MC are equal. It should be producing right there. Okay, that's Q star. Is the firm producing where MR and MC are equal? Well, since the price is 50, that means the marginal revenue is 50. Is the firm producing where its marginal cost is 50? What are we told? It's producing where its marginal cost is 30. So on the graph, 30 is somewhere down here. So the information that has been given to us is telling us that marginal revenue would be 50 here. Marginal cost at the current level of output is 30. So that indicates that the firm's initial level of output, which is 100, is that where it should be? No, it shouldn't be here. It should be here. Okay? This firm, our conclusion, answer to part A, this firm should produce more. It should expand. It needs to produce every unit where marginal revenue is greater than marginal cost. So as it expands, its marginal cost will go up. Once it gets to the point where MR and MC are equal, that's where it should stop and continue to produce there. What we're asked is simply to determine, should it stick with its current output? Should it produce more or should it produce less? Clearly, this firm should produce more. It should expand its output until marginal cost is at $50. Okay? So that's the answer to part A. Part B, what is the firm's profit at its current level of output. This is not the best level of output, but that is where they're producing now. Are they making a profit or not? And profit is, as before, number of units times price minus ATC. The number of units is 100. The price is 50. The average total cost is 40. Think about what that means. Price is 50, ATC is 40. The firm is making $10 of profit per unit. It's selling 100 units. So this firm is making $1,000 of profit at its current level of output. So should we say, well, it's making $100,000 worth of profit, so it'll just stick with where it is right now? No. Yes, it is making profit. But what we saw in Part A is that this firm could make even more profits if it expanded and produced at a higher level of output. So Part B answer is yes, the firm is making profit. It's making $1,000 of profit. Part C, if the firm expects these conditions to continue in the future, should produce, shut down temporarily, or go out of business. Obviously, even though it's not at the best level of output, it's making profits. The owner is doing better than he could do if he produced in some other market. So if he thinks this is going to continue, absolutely, he should continue to produce. Then the last part, if he thinks things are going to be even better in the future, what should he do now? Well, he's going to stay in business and produce even if things stay the same. If he thinks things are going to get better, well, then certainly he wants to stay in this market. Okay. Second problem, I'm going to follow exactly the same procedure. First thing we have to do is ask, is the firm producing at the best level of output? And by best, I mean the level of output that gives the firm maximum profit. Where does it get maximum profit? Where MR and MC are equal. Same as last time. The firm faces a horizontal demand curve and a horizontal marginal revenue curve. It's horizontal at the price, which is 80. It's going to have a marginal cost curve that looks like that. Where should it produce? To get maximum profit, it should produce right there. Is it producing where marginal cost is equal to 80? No, it's producing where marginal cost is 95. Well, 95 would be somewhere up here. So that tells us that the output the firm is producing, 200, is not the best level of output. To get maximum profit, what does the firm need to do? It needs to cut back. And as it cuts back, its marginal cost is going to go down. We're going to end up, or he's going to end up here. That would be the output level that would give the firm maximum profit. Okay. So what should the firm do in A? It should cut back and produce less. B, is it making any profit? Well, again, profit is quantity times price minus ATC. Quantity is 200. Price is 80. Average total cost is 60. Is the firm making any profit? Absolutely. It's making $20 of profit per unit, selling 2,000 units, and that means the firm is making $4,000 of profit. Okay? The owner is doing better in this, running this firm than he could do if he went into some other line of work. He's making profit. But we saw in Part A, he's not making as much profit as he could make. Okay? He's making profit, but if he cuts back to where MR and MC are equal, he's going to make even more profit than he's making here. Part C and D are both easy because if he's making profit, you know he's going to keep producing. Whether he thinks things are going to stay the same in the future or get better, either way, he's going to produce. Third problem. Excuse me. We're going to follow exactly the same procedure. First thing we have to ask is the firm producing at the level of output that will give the firm maximum profit? That's where MR equals MC. It faces a horizontal demand curve and a horizontal marginal revenue curve at 110, because that's the market price. To get maximum profit, needs to produce where MR and MC are equal, which is right here. Okay. Is the firm doing that? Okay. They are producing where MC equals 110, which is exactly what marginal revenue is. So here we can say we have a firm that is producing at the level of output that will give it maximum profit. Okay? This firm should either produce 300 or shut down temporarily or go out of business. We can't answer those questions until we look at other things. But in terms of how much to produce, if it's going to produce, it is producing where it should be. It should be at 300. Okay? Now, is it making any profit? Profit, as always, is quantity times price minus ATC. Quantity is 300. Price is 110. Average total cost is 130. Is the firm making any profit? No, because its average cost, its per unit cost, exceed the price that it's charging. It's losing $20 per unit. If we multiply that out by 300 units, we see this firm is experiencing a loss of $6,000. What does it mean to have an economic loss? It means the owner could have done better if he had used his resources somewhere else. Okay? So what should he do? Well, part C, if the firm expects these conditions to continue in the future, if he thinks he's going to lose, if he thinks, well, if I operate this year, I'll lose 6,000. And if he thinks that next year, if things are going to be the same, I'll lose another 6,000. And the next year, I'll lose another 6,000. Does that make any sense to continue losing $6,000? No. If he's losing money, price less than ATC, and he thinks that these conditions are going to continue in the future, then his best alternative is to go out of business immediately, go out permanently, okay? Because he can do better elsewhere. Then part D, if the firm expects conditions to improve and be more profitable in the future, what should the firm do? Well, if he thinks that things are going to get better, then he says, well, I don't want to go out of business. I want to be around to get profit in the future. So under these conditions, he rules out going out of business. He says, I'm going to remain in business. I'm either going to produce at a loss or I'm going to shut down temporarily. How does he make that judgment? Well, remember we said to decide whether to produce at a loss or shut down temporarily, what does he look at? Okay? He looks at price and average variable cost. He says, if I can at least cover my variable cost, then even though I'm going to lose money by producing, I'll be better off to produce than if I don't produce anything. So since his price is 110, his average variable cost is less than that, he's more than able to cover his variable cost. For each unit he produces, he's covering his variable cost and $15 of his fixed cost. So he's going to lose less if he chooses to produce. Okay? He's going to lose money. But as long as he thinks things are going to be better in the future, he's going to continue to operate even at a loss. Okay. Now, what if, change it a bit, what if his average variable cost had been 115? This is not part of the problem, but just consider it. If ABC had been 115, then he would say, well, if I produce, I'm going to get $110 per unit that I sell. The variable cost I incur are going to be greater than that, greater than 110. So if I produce, I'm going to lose, not only am I going to lose my fixed cost, I'm going to lose $5 of variable cost. And so with price, in this case, price less than ABC, he would choose to shut down temporarily. Okay. And again, this is assuming that he thinks things are going to get better and has decided he doesn't want to go out of business. All right, with the process I've demonstrated here, you should be able to look at the other 4 problems and work through those. If you follow the right process, you will get the right answer. If you run into trouble, let me know.